up, good people? David Taub here from nextlevelguitar.com. How you doing? Hope all is going well and hope your guitar journeys are going famously. What I want to talk about today is a tube preamp. And the tube preamp I have to show you is this guy right here. And this is the B283, made by a company out of Canada, Grant Fidelity. Now, this little gadget is becoming in the industry what's known as a magic box, because it's bringing tube warmth and clarity and definition to digital sound. And it makes a real big difference. Grant Fidelity is a Canadian company out of Calgary, Alberta, that specializes in high fidelity audio and affordable high fidelity audio and lots of tube systems. They really work with the tubes, and the guys and ladies at Grant Fidelity have years and years of experience in studio recording and professional engineering, and their products you really want to take a look at them and check out what they can offer. And they do offer discounts for musicians. So you want to go to grantfidelity.com, and for the two products that I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to include the URLs in the text box right here in the YouTube text box. So you just click on the link and you can go right to their site and check these out and read more about it. So I thought what would be a cool thing to do would be to take the tube preamp and play it through a solid state amp and show you how, if you have a solid state amp, you can really add that tube warmth and clarity and definition and harmonics to it and get some really cool tones out of it. Personally, I love tube amps. You know, my live rigs, I use all tube amps because, again, you know, that the tube, there's just nothing like that tube warmth and that clarity and definition and punch and just that unmistakable fat tube tone. Okay. However, with tube amps, there are some negatives, and they're much more, good ones are much more expensive than solid state amps. So it's a lot more expensive to get a good tube amp. They also require maintenance. In most instances, you have to bias the amp, and the tubes require replacement regularly, okay? And with solid state amps, the positives are that they're much less expensive, and they're basically maintenance free. But how do I get that tube amp sound with the affordability of a solid state amp? Hence the B283 by Grant Fidelity. Basically what I have here is a basic thrift store amp, you know, or eBay. Uses a mid-80s Randall R80 112 SC. Not a bad solid state amp. And actually this solid state amp is loud. It's 80 watts, so you could use this and you hear it in a band over a drummer, no problem. So this is not just for practicing in the bedroom we're talking about. We're talking about practicing in the bedroom, playing with the band, jamming with your friends. We're doing the whole shebang here with this amp and this little preamp, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to play with and without the preamp in the circuitry, and you're going to hear it, and you're going to hear how this device really warms up the sound, adds harmonics, clarity, definition, and takes a, you know, okay sounding solid state amp and makes it wow. The wow factor is really huge. And the great thing about it is cost, because, you know, you could find an amp like this or a decent solid state amp on eBay or in thrift stores for, you know, 150 bucks, 125, maybe 170, right around there. And then Grant Fidelity offers musicians discounts. So they offer this device to musicians for about 150 bucks. So 150 for the tube preamp, and maybe if you're savvy with your negotiating skills, you can get a solid state amp at a whatever, flea market, you know, eBay, Craigslist for another 150 bucks, 120 bucks. And, you know, for $250, $270, I have this hooked up through the effects loop on this amp, because the B283 doesn't create any power, okay? It's not a power amp. It's not going to power anything. So you want to run it through the effects loop in your amplifier, and that's it. It's simple on and off, and it has that, has like a no thump on, so you'll hear me playing it later where I'm going to just click on the switch while I'm playing, and you can hear the difference. And you could do the same thing if you have this hooked into your home audio system, through your DVD player or through your CD player, to bring out the warmth in those, or your home theater, or whatever type of audio application you have. This tube preamp, you're definitely going to want to try. It'll really warm it up. warm up the sound, but you could hear it with it off. Click it on, and boom, you hear the difference. Wow. So what this has is, I have it hooked up here to the big thick PC15 power cable, but and I'll give you a close-up shot of this, but it has RCA, unbalanced ins and out, rights and lefts, stereo. So you could run it in mono though if you want to. And all I did was I picked up a couple of 1/4 inch to RCA Y cable adapters that you can get at Guitar Center. Any good guitar store has 1/4 inch to RCAs for, you know, $3-4, and that's it. Simple, right into the effects loop. And the guitar, basically, I am plugging straight into the amp. Okay, nothing in between. The guitar is plugged right into the amp, and right to the effects loop for the B283, and I have it powered up through the thick PC15 power cable, which I'll talk about in a minute. And that's it. Easy to set up. Now there's many more applications that you could use this B283 for, and we're going to talk about those. But what I'm going to demo right now is for us guitar players, right? The bass players love it too, you know, because who wants to haul a huge tube bass rig around to gigs and whatnot, you know? It's just cumbersome, you know? That stuff gets really heavy with the bass rigs because with the big speakers, you know, they're moving all that air. So let's check it out. As you can see, there are the preamp tubes. It has two 6J1 preamp tubes. And what's neat about it is you could try different tubes, you know, and experiment, because different tubes are going to give you different sounds. So you could throw other types of preamp tubes in there and see how you like it. Here's a top view. Now, here's the back, and again, here is basically where you're going to make your connections. It's stereo, but you could run it in mono. You have RCA connectors right and left for input and output. Here's your power connector right there, and just an on-off switch. And that's it. So I have the amp set up now for a distorted channel, playing through the red channel, channel 2. And I'm going to be playing out of the bridge pickup on this American-made mid-90s Big Apple Strat. And I have the B283, the tube preamp, off. So it is through the effects loop like I was saying, but it's turned off. And here's the sound. Play the same chords. And just so... Okay, so the volume's a lot lower. When the preamp kicks in, you'll hear it gives it an increase in volume, but it's not just volume. It adds these rich harmonics through the tube circuitry. You get this, and also, to me, the notes have a lot more definition, and it really warms the sound up. Once you hit the power on a preamp, it takes maybe 5 or 10 seconds for the tubes to energize, for it to come through. You'll hear it. You'll immediately hear the louder part of it, but then listen and you'll hear how the notes, and I'll play the same exact thing I just did with it off. Like right now, I just clicked it on, okay, and if I just hold this E5th chord, there it goes, okay? So it came in, and you could hear the rich harmonics that it adds besides the volume. And really a lot of warmth. I changed pickups just to... The solid state amp now takes on a tube amp sound, and you could really hear that in the notes and the definition. Back to the bridge pickup now. things that you could do with this preamp. I even took it and put it through the effects loop on my tube amp.